Now, this story is absolutely hilarious. Disney, after years of race swapping and absolute box office disaster after absolute box office disaster, has finally admitted that race swapping doesn't actually bring more people into the movies. Now, this is something that we all knew, and they had to lose $10 billion roughly to finally figure out. And it is so bad that Disney hiring a white actress has made numerous meltdowns happen, numerous news stories launched, because they actually hired somebody who's white to play a white character. I'm not kidding you. The meltdown is hilarious. Let's look at this first, the overall story. Disney is set to hire white actress to star in the latest reboot after dumping DEI amid woke fury. I don't know that I would call it woke fury. I would just call it effing around and finding out. I would call it, having a brown actress doesn't mean the movie's automatically better. They lost almost $200 or $300 million on Snow White to learn that Snow White actually is white. Disney set to hire white actress to star in its latest reboot after dumping DEI. Disney is reportedly set to ditch its DEI-focused casting and hire a white actress for its latest live-action reboot as the company attempts to end its box office run of total bombs. By the way, this was sent to me in our members Discord. thequartering.com/join. Please do go in there. We've got an awesome Halloween contest going on with awesome prizes. You could submit your stories directly to me, talk directly with me, play video games with me and other viewers, and it's a lot of fun, and it supports the channel. The studio suffered a string of flops in recent years after recasting previously white characters with actors of color, including Latina actress Rachel Zegler as Snow White earlier this year. Zegler's outspoken pro-Palestine social media post led to criticism of Disney, which suffered a $50 million loss from the movie. The poor box office showing led Disney to shelve its plans entirely to remake Rapunzel, fearing a woke rebrand of the blonde-haired character could repeat in his dismal showing. Well, I mean, I would expect it to do that. I would expect it to do that. You know what I mean? Like, why would I? Now, here's the thing. Just by hiring a white actress, it isn't going to save a bad movie. That's the thing. So, unfortunately, what's going to end up happening is the movie, if it's not good, isn't going to do well. If they hire some woke idiot who just happens to be white and they say something politically divisive, it's not going to do well. So then Disney's going to say, well, see, we hired a white person and you guys still didn't come to see the movie. That's the same logic that led to them hiring, race swapping other characters. They think that people only care about the skin color of the actor or actress, when that's just simply not true. Now, maybe the media cares, but a good movie is a good movie. Still one of my all-time favorite Marvel movies. Probably one of my top 10 all-time favorite movies, and I know that's kind of crazy to say, is Blade. Now, I know that, I don't know if it aged very well or not. I haven't seen it in a while, but, I remember seeing that movie. It was the first DVD I ever bought. The Blade and Matrix were the first DVDs I ever bought, and I used to watch them endlessly. The soundtrack, all the one-liners, it was amazing. I never thought, wow, cool, a black vampire slayer. I just thought, wow, cool, look at this guy that's totally badass, kicking butt. And I think that's kind of the majority of people. Industry insider Matt Belloni revealed that Disney executives told him directly that the anti-woke shift within the company is now well known. Disney is about to cast a new Rapunzel in a revised live-action remake of Tangled, he wrote in his newsletter. I'll bet you the price of being a long-haired braided wig that gig will go. I'll bet you the price of that long-haired braided wig of the gig that the gig will go to a white actress. While he stopped short of naming any names, Scarlett Johansson is being eyed to star as Mother Gothel in the new movie. Reports say to Variety, another whitey? Production of the reboot was paused back in April Following Snow White's dismal box office performance, Disney and Zegler were trashed for tearing apart the beloved classic. Zegler, in particular, came under fire for her take that the classic plot from the 1937, such as saying that the prince is literally stalking, and the princess said their love story was weird. The actress casting was not only criticism as fans took issue with Disney ditching the Seven Dwarfs characters in favor of a diverse group of magical creatures of all heights, gender, and race. The struggling production followed Disney's previous rollout of The Little Mermaid in 2023, which was also scathed as its woke reimagining of the classic, which also bombed. Black actress Halle Bailey was cast as Ariel in the main movie. Everyone knows there's a lot of black people with red hair, while Melissa McCarthy was also criticized for saying that she based her villain Ursula on drag queens. The Rapunzel movie remained in limbo over the summer. Now, Coleman said that the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Department was now rebranded as, quote, Opportunity and Inclusion, which was to empower all through access, opportunity, and a culture of belonging. Disney is far from alone in ditching DEI, with Paramount, Warner Brothers, Discovery all publicly announcing that they were ending DEI initiatives. Now, some of the reaction to this is hilarious. Hilarious reactions pour in after Disney plans to cast white actress in reboot and ditches DEI. Now, again, I don't think this is one thing that's frustrating for me. Hiring a white actress isn't going to fix this. It still has to be a good movie. It still has to have family values. It still can't have like two women being a father and a quote unquote father and mother. It still can't. So if they have a white actress and they still have all this anti-family woke nonsense, the movie should still tank. This says, at least Tarzan will always be white because Disney doesn't have the balls to put a black man on screen acting like a monkey. Snow White actually lost $115 million, and it was blamed exclusively on Rachel Zegler and her divisive pro-Palestine and anti-family takes. You see this, in my personal opinion, Disney did it better with job diversity when they weren't even trying. You have Princess Jasmine, and I don't know who these other characters are because I was probably too old to be watching Disney movies at this point. There was a Win or Lose, which made the headlines for wanting to highlight. Oh, then there was Win or Lose, which wanted to highlight a trans perspective. Negative feedback resulted in the producers delaying the series release, then cutting the entire dialogue. According to 2024 NBC report, Bob Iger claimed the move was in the interest in removing any messaging that could be construed as political, while Belloni that the production to make its case, its ratings tell a different story on Rotten Tomatoes, where it has a 91% rating. Disney's new politics come after they allowed Jimmy Kimmel to come back, but they allowed Jimmy Kimmel to come back, but then they also saw how disastrous his ratings were when he came back. They saw that it didn't really, he was back, but people still didn't want his woke nonsense, his anti-Trump derangement syndrome. Here's some of the comments. The internet says Pocahontas should be played by a white actress. Honestly, I wouldn't complain if they just cast Mandy Moore and Zach Levi and did just a bit of digital de-aging on both to make them look a bit younger. Imagine losing millions just to learn Snow White was in fact white. It'd be nice for Disney to actually learn their lesson. They wouldn't have to raise prices on everything if they did. We'd be happy to spend our money with them. I don't mind if they want to switch it up, but then Pocahontas should be played by a white actress. Nobody wants live action anything from Disney. Tangled is a great American film, and they will ruin it somehow. Why can't they find a new idea? Well, it's because they don't have to pay for a lot of the new properties. They get to resell all their old merch sitting in warehouses. There's all sorts of reasons why they do these remakes. They're out of ideas. They're somewhat safe, all this kind of stuff. But, I haven't thought that anybody's wanted live action remakes ever. But somehow The Lion King made a bunch of money. I feel like the Aladdin remake did okay. Now, obviously, the Snow White one tanked, and the other one before that, I believe, also tanked. I imagine a Tangled remake won't do good either. Somebody says the love interest won't be white. Mark my words. Well, yeah, that's probably true. They lost more than 300 million just in gross profit. You also have to think about the damage to the brand. Don't breathe a sigh of relief. Just a script. They can ruin her character, just saying. Wait till you find out the love interest is going to be Pedro Pascal. You know, shock, horror, hiring a white person. Is Disney feeling okay? Has someone checked their temperature? The movie is Rapunzel. Rapunzel is a German fairy tale character. This is the right decision. Yeah, but you could have said the same thing about Snow White, whose skin was white as snow, except in the movie, it was like that snow that's hanging around in February that's all dark and gross and dirty from all the salt and road dirt. I love how people treat fictional characters like historical figures. So again, when they race swap a character from white to anything else, the left celebrates it. When they keep a character white, the left says, well, nobody actually cares. That's crazy. Blah, 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 blah. Well, people do care. And there's a reason why Disney doesn't race swap characters from, say, black to any other skin color. There's a big reason for that. And that's because people do care. And the woke crowd would be absolutely melting down and exposing themselves as hypocrites because they'll say, well, it doesn't matter. They aren't historical figures. But if they take a black character that's not a historical figure and make them white, they'd melt down about it and thus destroy their entire argument. Another big budget Disney movie flops at the box office after politicized promo. We had Tron, which has Jared Leto ever been in a movie that's made money? Like, I'm seriously asking. All the movies I think, like Morbius, when he played Joker, Tron, I'm not saying he's a good or bad actor or a good or bad person, but has he ever been in a movie like J-Lo? I think J-Lo's never been in a movie that's actually profited. Tron is going to lose money. Lightyear, because it had the two moms thing, lost $100 million. Tron, they had Jeff Bridges come out and calls for ICE to be, quote, off our streets during his Jimmy Kimmel appearance. Your job is to go there and promote the movie you're in, but instead you go there and say ICE bad. You know, given the film's gigantic budget and the additional cost of marketing, the production cost went past $300 million. The general rule of thumb for Hollywood is a film needs to gross 2 times the budget to even break even. What did it budget open to? $35 million, an unmitigated disaster. This is a $180 million budget, $360 million just to break even, which means you need to make $700 in the box office because they only keep 50 cents on the dollar. I guarantee you we're going to see a new world where actors and actresses are chosen by their ability to not tank a movie's complete entire chances of ever celebrating by going on late night. Congratulations, Jeff Bridges. I'll always remember you for the dude, but you tanked Tron. And Disney is clearly going the other way by saying, hey, yeah, we pushed our agenda, but we kind of need to make money too. So we'll have to see how this works out. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below. And we'll talk to you again real soon.